Hello, hello. I'm back with New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. Let's see how far I go today. Okay, we got a Bowser ship already coming in. So, just like the movie, Luigi's been kidnapped. Alright, let's see. Do that mushroom. And I know the movie's only been out for a day, but I do figure some of you have probably watched it, right? Um, I did. I actually really enjoyed it. I know. Look, since it's still fairly new, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but yeah, really good movie. Okay, I'm dead. That was a fail on my part. Yes, of course I want to be kidnapped again. But yeah, I saw the Mario movie, and yeah, I really did enjoy it. I mean, I know people are complaining about critics being too harsh, and I mean, I kind of think they are, but at the same time, I get it. I mean, you have to consider that when it comes to critics, they watch a bunch of movies in a single day. It's not like you or me, where we're watching these things just once in a while. I mean, granted, I watch a lot of movies, you know, a lot of the time, so it is something that I've even experienced at times. But I don't know. I feel like to an extent, people are being a little too harsh, and it's like, look, not saying that the critics are necessarily right on it, because again, I disagree with a lot of them, but it's like, everyone has a right to their opinion, and a lot of them are not trying to be rude about it. um there are some that are kind of baffling in the way they're going about it, I will admit that much. But the way people are acting, like, oh, they're being unfair or whatever, it's like, no, I get it in some cases. Okay, I gotta be careful on those. um yeah, okay. But yeah, like I do feel, generally speaking, that people are being a little too mean to certain critics, not really liking it. It's like, not everyone's gonna like what you like. You gotta get over that. I mean, it's not anyone's fault. Live and let live. Of course I died. I hate these water levels. I just say that the movie benefits from not having water levels, but if you've seen the movie, there's technically a section in the water, so eh. But yeah, me personally, I really enjoyed it. I think that the movie, for the most part, hits all the right notes. Uh, you know, it has all those references that people expect out of these, but you know, it is a cute family feature for the most part. Um, I will say that. Okay, come on. There we go. There we go. That it could have had a stronger plot. I'm not saying that it couldn't have, but at the same time, it feels like the kind of movie that is meant to be like a simple kid story. It feels like a fairy tale. That's the way I kind of viewed it. Oh, come on. It's like a little fairy tale for families to enjoy, to watch. um I don't know, it's like I really can't be mad about, this movie doing essentially what it sets out to do. There is a lot of references in it, so okay, there's Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. isn't in the movie, so you know, if you're a fan of his, sorry, but I feel like that's better left for a sequel anyways. But yeah, like, you know okay, got um in terms of references, like, some people are saying like, okay, it takes up priority over a lot of the story. I don't really agree. I think for the most part, okay, this, there we go. uh I think the references are well executed in the movie. Like, it's there, but it never really is taking away from the story at hand. Like, it is a well told, oh come on, it is a well told story. It's just that it's a very basic one, and it kind of has to be. It's a not just an origin story, but it's very much a kids movie, fairy tale kind of thing. Like, in many ways it kind of reminded me of like classic Disney, where it's like, yeah, this is not meant to be this complex thing. Like, you look at Snow White, Cinderella, those are very simple stories, and they work because they're very simple stories. Come on, they honestly wouldn't work any other way, to in my opinion. If they did it more complex, maybe they could, but for me it's just like, you know if you want something more complex, you're looking for the wrong movie. I think, I don't know, it's like I said, it's understandable, where some people are coming from, but at the same time, it's like you do have to remember like what the audience for this thing is. Oh come on. It just feels like it'd be unfair to assume otherwise. Okay, that helps. Oh, I don't know. It is a really charming little thing, and I think it we'll get its reevaluation in time. I mean, it is getting a lot of love right now. It's, the big box office movie event of the week, and it's probably going to be like that for a good month. So I'm not worried. And realistically, people need to learn how to watch things without necessarily relying on other people's opinions on them. It's like, this is a good movie regardless of how you feel about it. I mean, this is the kind of movie where people are gonna watch it regardless of how they feel about it, so by all means, just let it be a thing. Choose, make your own mind, and in time, people will decide whether they actually like it or not. I don't know. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was cute. I thought it was a well told, simple story, and at the end of the day, I mean, that's all I could have really asked for a Mario movie. It gets what it's supposed to be. It doesn't try to pretend to be something it's not. It's a fun time. I like the voice acting in it. Chris Pratt is surprisingly good in it. Because the trailers didn't really sell them all too well, and I didn't want to, be mean to the guy, because I'm like, okay, he has done good voice work, and there you go. But the trailers were not doing it. some of the clips that came out, you know, like showcase like, okay, he is doing a pretty decent voice in this, but I don't know. Of course they're gonna toss me out. um and I don't know, it was just like, you know, this movie just had the right marks. Bowser, Jack Black, best part of the movie. They're actually hiding quite a bit with Bowser. I will say that much. I won't reveal it, but then again, if you're a fan of this series, you probably know where some of his story is going in terms of what he's doing, because he's trying to basically, um, you know, take over the world, like the trailers say. But there's an extra bit into it. So the jungle, I add like some squirt. But yeah, like, you know, he does a good job. Charlie Day does a really good job too as Luigi, even though I will say, you know, him being kidnapped makes sense. Would have been nice if he had a bit more of an arc to him. But then again, they do get across this story well enough to where it doesn't feel like, you know, you really lose much. Like, you know, it's not like, oh, Luigi is never given his due. Like, he actually does have this fun little, oh, okay, this fun little moments to shine. um and you know, for what it's worth, between him getting kidnapped and, you know, doing it with Peach, I'm glad that they went with him. Because it's like, you know, look, at this point the whole Peach thing is kind of played out. You know, why is she always getting kidnapped? Realistically, you know, it's time that they kind of dropped it. And you know, speaking of Peach, you got Anya Taylor-Joy, who is in it, and you know, really good at it. I don't know. Okay. But yeah, she's really good at it, and it's like, yeah, you know, I think they did the right call, and you know, what they do with her character. Because they make her, you know, more competent and whatnot. Not that she, you know, Peach has never been competent, if we're being honest, but it was just like, okay, you know, there we go. We finally get a Peach that, you know, can actually fight and whatnot within an actual story, and it's cool. And they don't take away from the fact that, you know, she's a kind princess. Like, they don't like, I know some people mentioned that they were worried that Peach was gonna lose her status as this kind character. Like, they were just gonna try to make her like, you know, a full-on girl power character. Just something that's, you know, kind of boring. Something from, like, you know, like the way a lot of these corporations used to do, like the female empowerment thing, just to score some points. That were like, okay, you made a character, but they're not really a character, and it's not really all that well done. Luckily, that's not the case. She is allowed to be funny. She's allowed to be a character. And they even set up a little mystery with her. It's never really solved in the movie, but it doesn't really matter. So on that front, perfectly fine. But then you also get some voice actors in this movie that, you know, get their moments to shine. Like, you got Kevin Michael Richardson as Kamek, you know, Bowser's assistant, and it's just really fun to see him. He does a really good job, and he plays off of Bowser really well. There's some really funny stuff with that Luma Lee character that appears. If you saw the final trailer, you know, it's the little Luma character that Luigi meets. They do some funny stuff in that. Yeah, it was a really funny movie. It's a good time. Probably the best movie I've seen so far this year. But then again, I'm not gonna lie. This year I haven't really been able to see too much. But for what it's worth, I definitely had a good time. So yeah, it was just perfect uh, movie that I could get at this moment as an origin. I do hope to see more of it. In any case, I'm just so glad at how well it's done, and yeah, I'm not surprised that it's gonna be a big hit this week. Uh, yeah, it's just a really solid movie. Um, Again, I don't want to talk about spoilers because I know a lot of you haven't really had a chance to watch it yet. It's just come out. Um, which side should I? Yeah, probably decide. There is two post credit scenes. One's a goofy one that is kind of a play off of a scene that appeared um at an earlier point in the movie. I won't spoil it, but it was a really funny thing. The second one is the one that teases the sequel, and while I'm okay with it, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed in that. Sorry. Um, I honestly thought that they were gonna do something different. Like this thing, right? Um, like in this scene, again, not spoiling it. Uh, it teases a character that isn't really in the movie, but it's something that we kind of already got in the movie, so it's not that big of a surprise. So if you're expecting something that again we don't really see in the movie to appear in the trailer, I mean in the post credits, and realistically even this thing appeared in in some of the marketing, again not exactly in the way that we know it, but just in the way where it's like, okay, this is a character that we know. um like I said, it is kind of already spoiled there. um Again, I will say that it is still a surprise, so that's why I won't spoil it, but it is a disappointment to me. I mean, well, not really a disappointment, but just at least I was hoping it was going to be something that we definitely were going to be shocked to see for this movie. Instead of something like, okay, yeah, well, that kind of already appeared in some spots, so that's okay. I mean, it sets up a sequel again, but we know what it is. So yeah, if you're thinking it's like Wario or Rosalina, um, I'm sorry to say, but no, it's again a thing that has been there, but not really. Is all I'm gonna say, which is probably giving away more than I should, but that's really what it is. Luigi, of course. So it's a fun movie, and that post credit scene, even though it didn't really do much for me, because I was like, yeah, I kind of saw that coming. Um, Kids went wild for it, and that's the thing that people forget about, is that some of these things are, made for kids in mind, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, of course, you do want to make it so that adults can enjoy it, but at the end of the day, it's a kids thing. So if they're the ones who are being entertained, then that's kind of the most important part. Um, we had like trailers that were playing throughout the throughout of course before the movie came out, where it was like, okay, here's what we're expecting to see soon. They had, of course, mostly trailers for like kids properties, um like they had Ninja Turtles, Elemental, stuff like that. Nothing that was really all that I don't want to say amazing, but nothing that really got everyone excited. But one of the things that I found kind of funny was that uh for as much as I normally dislike Illumination, and just to be upfront, this is definitely the best Illumination movie made, just because it feels like they're at least trying to do some things that we just never expected. But they had a trailer for their next movie, which is called Migration. It's from the director of Ernest and Celestine. I could be getting that name wrong, but it's a really good animated movie, at least I've heard. um and it does look cute from what I've seen. um okay, let's see. And my general thing is like, yeah, come on. Oh, I definitely gotta get a life. um and within the trailer they were showcasing clips of like previous Illumination movies, and I'm like, okay, look, none of this really excites me, but at the same time, it's exciting it's making the kids excited. So I'm like, you know as much as I hate to say it, they do know what they're doing. um so even though it'd be, you know even though I could say like, okay, advertising for what's it called, Secret Life Pets does nothing for me, I can't deny that there is an audience for this stuff, and we as adults have to remember that, you know some things are just made for kids, and that's fine. We're not the people who this stuff is supposed to matter to begin with. And again, that's okay. I wish that they would try harder, and I do hope that if anything, the success of this convinces them to try a little harder on this stuff. But you know I can't deny that what they do actually, can I go back? No, I can't deny that what they do works for people, at least, mostly kids, but still, again, they're kind of the audience here, so it'd be wrong for me to say this is bad or whatever. Come on. Of course. I don't know. It's, you know, at the end of the day, kids will watch what they watch, and there's nothing you can really do about it. Okay, so I'm getting a comment here. For the Mario movie, yeah, that I would still recommend for adults. I would mainly recommend it if you're a fan of Mario or can at least get into the headspace of what the movie wants to be, which is basically a fairy tale. It's basically um like I've said this before on it, like it's mainly kind of movie that you would imagine, like crap, Walt Disney, and of course I go down, like a Walt Disney animated film from like when he was alive, like, you know, your Cinderellas, your Snow Whites. That's how Mario is, because it's a very simple plot. It moves quickly. There is character arcs in there, like Luigi learning to be brave, Mario learning to believe in himself, Donkey Kong befriending Mario and also learning to believe in himself. But it goes by so quickly that it's like, I know some people have said like it probably would have been good if the movie had, wow, I'm really bad at this right now, um if the movie had some extra scenes to kind of flesh this out. But at the same time, I kind of feel like, you know, the way it's going is so basic, and not in a bad way. It's just like, you know, again, this is a kids movie, that it it's not trying to be complex, and it's, you know, trying to just get its message across as simply as possible, which is fine. That's all it really needs to do. And, you know, people need to remember that, you know, not all movies are made to be these complex things. Like other movies that I wouldn't necessarily compare to in terms of how the story is done. Well, yeah, I guess I could say it in that way. Is like oh, what's it called? The Nightmare Before Christmas, the original Toy Story, where those movies aren't really trying anything too hard. Like it's pretty much, here's a very simple message. Here's characters, they learn that lesson, movie ends. Like, you know, with Toy Story, to go with that one specifically, a lot of people often forget that the first one was kind of simple. The sequels were the ones that kind of went in a more complex route. Not by much, but it was definitely there. That was scary. Um, but yeah, it's like, you know, that's what Mario's aiming for, and that's perfectly fine. I don't think anyone's necessarily wrong for wanting more. Okay, this is okay, of course. But I do think that some people are definitely in need of like reminding themselves, like, hey, this is what the audience for this is. It's perfectly fine for this to, okay, I gotta run, yes. It's perfectly fine for it to be just this simple basic story. It's nothing bad. You'll definitely get a lot of good laughs in the references, but as I was saying earlier, I feel like a lot of people are kind of overdoing it in terms of like, okay, this is a reference filled movie, because it is, but it's no different than watching, like, you know, your Marvel movies or even other stuff for kids that were well liked, like the Peanuts, the Peanuts movie, I think had like a bunch of references that um people often overlook, like, you know, how much it has, just because it was such a simple and easy to enjoy kids movie, and plus there's a lot more nostalgia for it. You're welcome. But yeah, like that's where Mario is. And I know it probably sound like I'm repeating myself, but I don't know, I really dug it. I'm actually hoping to watch it again, if I'm completely honest, just because I really enjoyed it. Like, it's not even about me wanting to find all the references that are in there, even though there's definitely a lot to watch. But yeah, it's definitely something fun. Okay, it's another boo house. I love the boo houses, but I gotta be honest, it does get annoying when you have to kind of figure out this stuff um as you're going along. Okay, see where that leads me. Oh wait, I guess. Okay, come. There we go. Okay. Surprisingly, one of the things, and this isn't really a spoiler, but looking at the Fire Luigi right now, I could be wrong, but I don't think Mario ever actually uses the fire flower in the movie. Other characters do, but not him, which is kind of weird, just because, you know, it's the iconic it's the iconic power up. You would assume that Mario is the one that gets to use it, but no. um we'll say that in terms of oh, you could eat them. In terms of references, uh I feel like Mario 64 and Odyssey surprisingly are the ones that get the most. Which is kind of crazy to me, but yeah, like, because this movie was announced at least a little before Odyssey came out, if I'm not mistaken. So I wonder how much of it that they did in Odyssey was meant to be stuff that they were gonna do in this, or if it was stuff that they just kind of stumbled upon. Oh, is that it? Oh, I did I get a secret? Okay. But yeah, like, there's some stuff in the movie that is very reminiscent of Odyssey, so I'm like, I wonder if that was if the movie used it based on Odyssey, or if um it was something that they had just done for Odyssey. Oh, I'm skipping a whole thing. Okay, that's cool. Oh, wait, don't tell me that this is just a hidden level. That I was skipping it into the... Where am I? Right. In terms of video game movies, I'd definitely rank it among the best. I don't know if it's necessarily the best. I still have a really soft spot for Detective Pikachu just because it brought those Pokemon to life. But for what it's worth, it is definitely one of the better ones. And for the record, the ones I enjoy are both of the Sonic movies. Two more than one. One feels more like just a generic kids movie, whereas two at least feels more like a Sonic movie, which I appreciate. Granted, this is not one that we got theatrically. I know it was one from Japan. I forget this. I'm just gonna go back. Go that way. But I enjoyed like the Professor Layton movie. Again, not a one that we got theatrically here, but for what it's worth, it was a really good movie. I think the Street Fighter Van Damme movie, not a very good movie, but it's a fun time. So I gotta give props for that. I know there's Rampage, which was a fun time. It was just a fun dumb kaiju movie. Okay, so that was that one. Let me try this one. I know there was the Angry Birds movies are actually pretty good for what it's worth. Again, with that one, it was more the second one than the first one, but the first one has its merits. Those are more for kids, though, I will say. Even compared to Mario, I think it's like, yeah, this is definitely one where it's only really worth watching if you're with a kid. But the second one at least is very funny. I'll be honest, even the live action Mario Bros. Movie is not that bad. It's weird. It's not the best representation of Mario, but for what it's worth, it's interesting, which is more than you could say about a lot of other bad movies. So I don't know, on that front, I'm like, yeah, you know, I still definitely recommend it. Yeah, I don't know, I really liked it. It was just a fun time. At this point, you're probably already bored of me talking about Mario, but for the most part, definitely recommend it, especially if you're a fan. Oh wait, do I have to? Oh, okay. Where does this send me? No, okay. Take that, boo. Surprisingly, they do hold off on boos on this movie. You're not really gonna see them as Bowser's army throughout it, but I'm assuming that's because they're probably gonna be like, okay, we gotta do of Luigi's Mansion movie, which I will say, I kind of felt like leading up to this movie that rather than just doing a Super Mario Bros. 2, they should do Luigi's Mansion before that to have Luigi's story of how he gets, you know, more confident, especially, you know, seeing how this movie, you know, he's kidnapped for most of it. So have like a role reversal for the next movie. I still kind of feel that way, but I wouldn't mind doing a Luigi's oh wait, this is the Van Gogh level. I gotta go with that one. I wouldn't mind doing Super Mario Bros. 2, but I do think that if anything, if they do a Super Mario Bros. 2 before they do Luigi's Mansion, they should definitely consider making Peach, I mean Daisy, a character in the next movie, just so you can have like that whole bit of story. And in all honesty, whereas Peach and Mario are whereas Peach and Mario are kind of left in a platonic friendship by the end of this one, I think Luigi and Daisy should definitely be much more romantic right from the get-go. Like, if you want to build on Mario and Peach's relationship for the sequel, I totally get that, but I do think that if anything, Luigi and Daisy should be more upfront on it, just because, like, the thing with Daisy is that, you know, she's known to be more of a tomboy, so it feels like she'd definitely be much more forward. Like, maybe Luigi's the hesitant one in the two, but then Daisy's the one that pushes it. That'd be great for the sequel. I do think they should do Wario. I kind of want Waluigi too, even though he's never really been a part of the main stuff. But I mean, like, come on, give Waluigi a thing. Like, I'm not even the biggest Waluigi fan, but I will admit that, like, hey, look, you know, give him a chance to shine. It'd be great. I don't know. That would be something. I do think oh great. For the sequel, they should consider great. They should consider downplaying not Bowser. Well, I guess Bowser to an extent, but Bowser should be still involved. Maybe they could do the whole Lecter Hannibal thing where it's like Bowser, you know, gives them ideas on how to fight, like, you know, if they go with like Tatango or Wart, whoever, you know. But what I generally think is that they should downplay Donkey Kong. I mean, and I love Donkey Kong in this movie, just to be clear, but I do think, like, okay, look, you know, we're bound to get like a Donkey Kong Country movie, so instead of doing the whole Donkey Kong thing again and having him be one of the main recurring you know, characters, just have him be like, okay, you know, we'll acknowledge he exists, he gets his cameo or something, but we're not gonna make him like the, you know, character that we see in all of this. Uh, um, I think this is where I'm supposed to go. I know there's like a secret passage in this one. But yeah, like Lemon Donkey Kong's role, he worked out in this one. One of my favorite characters in it, but you know, let him shine in his own movie and just focusing on the other characters for the sequel. Okay, yeah, there we go. I know, like if you go in the traditional route, it just takes you in a circle, if I remember correctly. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Another star, don't need it. I really should have paid attention. Okay, I think got it. There we go. Let's see. Wiggler Stampede or Seesaw Bridge. I like Wigglers. And the thing about movies, I'm just like, honestly, the movie that I've been wanting to see, and this is probably, granted, it still would be a kid's thing because, hey, you know, families can watch it, but the one I've been wanting to watch that is out is, well, actually quite a few. I've been wanting to watch Creed 3. Haven't gotten a chance to watch it. Haven't gotten a chance to watch what's it called, Dungeons and Dragons, which I'm not really a Dungeons and Dragons guy, but at least from what I've heard, it's a really fun movie, and from what I've seen in the ads, it does look really funny, and I like the tech that they're doing for it, like the effects. I don't know, it just looks like a good time, at least to me. But yeah, it's just a lot of movies. I know they have like that Air Jordan movie, which, you know, sounds really fun. I don't know. Come on. I need to watch that Tetris movie. Think about video game movies. I know that's been said to be really fun, and it does look really fun based on what it is. I don't know, it's just a lot of stuff. Probably lagging way too far behind. Of course. Um. Oh. And I mentioned this in past streams, but I'm not the biggest fan of this series. It's fine for what it is, but it's like it would be nice if they did more unique things with this franchise, because it really doesn't feel like they bother putting in the time to do some really crazy stuff. And it's like, you know, a lot of the older Mario platformers, like the 2D ones, had their charm because they took new ideas, and this is just playing it really safe for the most part. So I kind of hope, because they're saying that I, I I don't know how true this is, but apparently, like, when it comes to this series, the only reason why we haven't gotten like a new one over the last decade is just because since this came out on the Switch instead of like a new version, they were like, okay, well, you know, there's no point to releasing a new, oh great, a new Super Mario Bros. I don't know, with that, since it's been so long, I do hope that whenever they do return to the series, or if they just do something different for a 2D Mario, that they do something different. And they do have the capability to do so, just because if you look at like Mario Maker 2, like what they did with the what do you call it, the 3D world based levels, it's like, okay, this looks like something that we should be doing, at least visually, for this series. I don't know if it would necessarily work, but it looks like something that would be kind of fun, I think, and could provide something fresh. I would think so, but I don't know. And it's not like it's like, oh, 2D has already been done to a point where it's like, yeah, there's no way to advance it. Because, you know, you get the Donkey Kong Country games, like, yeah, granted, that's another series that hasn't really had a new game in who knows how long. Those do kind of benefit from just the creative ideas they do. So I don't know, I feel like, you know, Mario could try harder. Thank you, Wiggler. I know somewhere out there's probably someone looking at this saying like, hey, you know, I could do this much easier and much better. um okay, I mean, granted, you know, I know there's a lot of people who are like, hey, you know, not everyone's a full-on gamer, like, you know, I play games and whatnot, so obviously that's not actually how it is. But, you know, there's always got to be those people that just get mad just because someone is not doing like the greatest job at games, which, you know, hey, whatever. um Not my thing, not my interest, I don't care. Honestly, one thing that would be kind of cool with the ice power up for like a sequel is if you could actually freeze like the lava to an extent. Like, I'm not saying full on, but just imagine if you can make a path on top of it. I think that would be kind of cool for like a future entry in this series. Or I could be wrong and just don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, great. You know, looking at all the dry bones, I will say that the dry bones do get a pretty cool scene when yeah, and you've kind of seen it in the trailers for Mario where they kidnap Luigi. uh I do kind of like it for because for a kids movie, like while it's not super intense, it's like, oh look, it's a full-on zombie thing. So that's kind of cool, and I hope that if the sequels expand on that, we get to see more cool ideas with that whole idea. I don't know, I just think there's a lot that they could explore upon, even if this one explored so much already. You know, considering last time I was talking about Sonic Frontiers, which again, I know a lot of people love the game, but not for me. It just doesn't really grab my interest. Um, every time I've tried playing it, it just no. And I wish it would, because when I see some people enjoying it, it's like, man, why don't I get that excitement out of it? But what I will say about that, well, Sonic in general, is that it'd be kind of nice if they actually did full on, like, 2D platformers on the norm. Like, I know they had Sonic Mania, but it's like that feels like a one and done thing. And granted, right now they're doing like the Sonic Origins, and they are adding Amy to be playable, which cool. That's actually one of the things that I'm really looking forward to playing. But I'm like, let's get some new 2D games, especially ones with new stages. Like, it was kind of cool that Sonic Generation revisited levels, but it feels like a lot of Sonic games since have been nothing but let's try to revisit the past games. Like, was that close? Let's try to revisit the past games. Let me get quick. You probably heard of the water loudly, but yeah, like do some new levels. Like, don't just go back to like the classics. Like, I know why, but it is kind of weak that's been the common thing since like Sonic Generations. I mean, probably even earlier than that, but it feels like Sonic Generations is where they really decided, like, okay, let's do nothing but um classic levels. That I just missed that. I'm just gonna finish up this level. um I got interrupted earlier. Nothing serious, but since I'm just gonna do one more level, uh I didn't want to just leave the video like that. So from here on out, this was not streamed. This is just me finishing up where I was at. Okay. So I'll leave it at that. Um, sorry for the interruption. Um, hopefully next time I get to go through without interruptions. So thank you for watching.